Alright, so first of all, sorry for my voice. I woke up like an hour ago and it's still gravelly, and I've been like trying to talk and get that out of there. But anyway, I wanted to record now because I'm not going to have many opportunities to get this video out on time, or at least at the time that I want to. Oh my God. But I want to start off now with kind of a, I don't know, not a secret, I guess. Three secret things that you can do in the hub. I hesitate to say that. There are three chests in areas. Okay, this isn't this hard. I'm just suffering from skill issue. Hold on. Gotta jump from the peak of the roof and aim for the lowest part of the cliff there. Anyway, there are three chests that you can get scattered across the overworlds that are all very easy to get to and also have, they can drop Tomes of Lesser Experience. They can drop nothing, and I think they can drop the Bunhost Garb, and I think that's it, but I'm not entirely sure. It seems like aside from nothing, the Tome of Lesser Experience is the least common, so you're mostly just going to be getting duplicates of the Bunhost set. It's only the Garb and the pants. I think they're called pants. I don't remember what they're called actually, but they're a cosmetic set. Yeah, Bunhost Garb, which I've actually gotten less of than the pants for whatever reason, but those are a cosmetic set that look very um not safe for YouTube. The leggings, there it is. I can put them on real quick to show you what I mean. Yeah, very I don't know. I don't like them that much, to be honest. They look kind of nice, but not my personal taste. They okay, so there was an update. I should probably get that out of the way. We are now on 1.6b. The last video was recorded on 1.5b, but there were no major content updates. It was just a lot of quality of life stuff. So certain scaling is different, certain casting times are different. Equipped inventory stuff doesn't take up actual inventory space, stuff like that. Nothing that'll dramatically change how we play the game. It'll just feel better to play in a few specific ways. So I already have a bunch of those, so I'm just going to sell those. And we can use the Tome of Lesser Experience and everything. I'm just going to sell all this. I don't need any of it. Right, so we literally just have the highest level dungeon and then the Grove left. And then Tuul Valley, because that's the highest level thing in the game right now, and also the like last thing that's been added. But there's nothing to actually do there. You'll see when we get there. So this layout, somebody said in the comment section of my, what was that? The ATLYSS without a weapon video, I think. I think that's what I did. I don't remember the run exactly. I think I just did no weapons equipped. Anyway, I mentioned that this door, if you get the key from this room over here and use it on that door, you can't actually sweep the dungeon. You can't go to the entire dungeon because you need to use it on this door instead. And there's no key. There's not a second key that you can get from the other side. And somebody commented that actually there's a hidden key, but they were thinking of a different dungeon layout. So, damn it. Okay, I wasn't paying attention because I was trying to explain that I was actually correct the whole time. But yeah, no, if you use the key that you get from this room on that door, you simply cannot sweep the dungeon, which you need to do for the quest. And you also obviously need to kill a bunch of enemies for the eradicating the undead quest. So either way, it's better to just sweep the dungeon anyway. Oh, that's right. One thing that I think will dramatically change how people play the game, well, maybe not dramatically, but will definitely influence how people play the game. Skill damage was increased and weapon damage was decreased. So like the flux bolt cooldown is significantly less now, for instance. Um, so that you're more likely to. I got toxic. What? That was so confusing. Wow, I am not doing well today. Anyway, so you'll rely more on skills rather than just using weapons, which I think will be most influential for the fighter because with the Mystic, you know, you're obviously already going to be using skills a bunch. And with Bandit, you're also probably going to be using skills a bunch. Not as much as the Mystic, at least not used to be, but Sturdy is really, really good for melee classes. I wouldn't say that's super great for Mystic because Mystic you're going to be dodging anyway, but that will let you auto parry and auto block if you're capable, and it won't consume any stamina. Or rather, it'll auto parry if the attack is capable of being parried, and it will auto block otherwise. So it makes you effectively invincible. So you can really get up in enemies' faces. It's a very, very useful skill. What? That's so weird. Remember to keep the Hell Sledge course. This is another one that you need for, I want to say the next chest plate thing from the monoliths, which is the next variant of the golem. I don't think this part is going to be as long. It's going to take as long for me to record because going from level 14 to 25 takes a long time just doing quests over and over. But I don't think the video itself is going to be as long um, just because, there's not as much to show off. It's kind of just 2 dungeons and then the Tuul Valley area. But I do want to get best in slot for my character before ending this so that, I'll have that for the next video once the next content update comes out, which I'm so excited for. I think one thing that really tripped me up with this combat when I first played the game was that you can't be afraid to block. It's okay to block sometimes, right? You're not going to be able to parry every single attack that ever comes close to hitting you. Um, you just need to make sure to manage your stamina, which really isn't a thing that I focus on in this game at all. And I really need to learn that because as much as I like to try to parry everything that comes my way, that's just not feasible. um, and it's okay to like need to block an attack every so often, and to like actually try to block attacks instead of necessarily trying to parry every single attack. I think the reason I never really focus on stamina management is the fact that dodges don't actually take stamina. Failing blocks does, and then dodging prevents your stamina from restoring, but dodging itself doesn't take stamina. So I just don't consider stamina management as a thing that I need to do, right? I don't know if that's just me or how common of a viewpoint that is, or, experience that is for other people who play this game. That's just not really something that I consider because it's not pervasive, I suppose. Not that I would want it to take stamina necessarily. I think if it did, that wouldn't be bad. It would just change the flow of the combat, and I'm sure that's not necessarily something the dev wants, and that's why, it is the way it is. All right, so our next boss, Lord Colossus. If you can't tell, coming in here, the boss already being spawned. I did die, but the commentary wasn't worth keeping, so I'm just gonna cut that out. He's harder because his attacks are changed in very specific ways. Like this attack, instead of shooting out 1 projectile that persists, he shoots out like 5 or whatever, and they all go in a circle around him. I don't think you can parry him at all either. That seems to be the case. I thought I parried him last time I played, but maybe not. But yeah, see, that one does a lot more block damage as well, or stamina damage, whatever you want to call it. Words are hard. Just because I do words for a living doesn't mean they're not hard. Once we get to halfway through the fight like that, we will still get enemy spawns with the harder variants of the enemies that spawned during the... Oh, I'm out of mana. During the dungeons. Oh my god. The harder versions of enemies that spawned during the Zul'Naruto fight. What? What did I die to? Huh? Maybe Prism would actually be good against Colossus. I don't usually get Prism because it's not super useful on its own a lot of the time. But maybe against like bosses, it would be nice to have... I don't know, it's kind of useless against the Colossus though, which is our next boss. Eek. Wrong positioning. Skill issue on my part. Okay, good. There we go. Easy. He's not that hard, especially once you come back with a slightly higher level. There's... I don't think... The only thing that he drops, I think, off the top of my head that is best in slot is the Coldgeist bow. So if you're not playing Bandit, you don't really need to worry about drops here unless you want a little boost before going into the next dungeon. But for most classes, the next dungeon, the drops that you get from the next dungeon will actually just be better, like throughout the next dungeon too, which will be pretty obvious once we get there. I'm going to go ahead and do one more of those off camera to get the Eradicating the Undead quest done real quick. So I finished Eradicating the Undead, and I've decided that I want to do Reviling the Rageboars. You can see in the top right, you get it from Enoch, before going into the dungeon, because I want to get as high a level as possible before going into the dungeon, because the dungeon is very difficult. So we're going to go to Tuul Valley here and get to the Rageboars. There's one spot where you can very easily kill a bunch of them, and you don't necessarily need to cheese them for it to be easy, but it is even easier if you decide you do want to cheese them. So what you can do to make this just absurdly easy, if I could actually do jumps, um, is land up here, and then you can just like attack them from here. Um, I mean, you might have to like lure them over at first, get them to notice, and then jump up here. And then they can't hit you, but you can hit them just fine. Rageboars do a lot of damage. So not doing this is dangerous, but it's not particularly difficult. They have the same moveset as the mech boars or whatever they're called. And they don't respawn super quickly. And they're kind of in smaller groups here, if even groups at all. And at this point in the game, you know, it's not too difficult. Oh, right, the Hellsludge cores are for the... I think it's for the Rageboar Spear. I don't remember. Rageboar Spear, if I remember correctly, is one of the best weapons in the game. I want to say it's the best polearm in the game. I'm not sure about that off the top of my head, though. Oh god, having 4 of them on you at once is not a good time. Okay, everything's fine. Yeah, that thing almost broke my shield with a single attack, so they're a little bit dangerous, but they're not that hard to avoid getting hit by in the first place. It's just because they have such a simple moveset. So as long as you're being careful, you know, this isn't a hard quest to do at all. And again, you know, if you are really having trouble with it, there's no problem cheesing it either. Okay, into the Grove. So if we go to the Crescent Keep here. Oh, right. We need to go through the keep again. The door doesn't open until I think the criteria is getting to level 15. I don't know what else it would be. I've gone there at level 15 without having the quest, and I think it opened. I think I've done that. I don't know. Anyway, we need to go through a little bit of the keep to actually get into this dungeon, so it won't be too difficult. Oh, a soul pearl. That's actually really good. Those are really rare. Yep, there we go. Again, I'm pretty sure the criteria for being worthy, quote unquote, is literally just level 15. Anyway, I'm gonna go empty my inventory before going into this dungeon. Yeah, okay. So here's where we actually need the mech spear, the hellsludge cores, which I need 1 more of because of course I do, and then the um, Rageboar spear thing to make the rage spear. I'm gonna go get that real quick, actually. Alright, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the best polearm possible in the game right now. We can also use it as the Mystic. I could change the scaling to Mind if I wanted to. And this would actually be a pretty solid weapon for that. The serrated stuff in the next dungeon is also really, really good. If you happen to want to... Also, I got another soul pearl, which is really cool. If you happen to want to... I don't need any of this, also, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, if you happen to want to use a specific weapon type as a class that can't get that weapon type, the serrated stuff is probably the best stuff that you can get in the game that's usable by every class. I don't know if that's true completely, but I'm pretty sure that the serrated stuff is never class restricted and is also going to be most likely the best outside of a specific couple scenarios. I don't remember. Like the Rage Spear is going to be better than the serrated spear, but that's like one of the few exceptions for that, right? It's actually really likely that I get a better scepter almost immediately. Depending on what layout we get, we might actually be able to open a couple chests before even fighting anything. Hey, this is one of the layouts where you can open chests before fighting anything. Open up the pot house. I don't know why it didn't show up when I pulled it there. I probably just got to the lever too quickly. But once you pull that lever, it says the pot house is opened. And we can open a couple chests in here. I think that the stuff can also drop from the pots here. So you're going to be wanting to break pots in this. Like the Mithril guitars are pretty good. They're one of the best things that we can have at this point, assuming we didn't get lucky from a chest, right? Also, you can buy the Mithril stuff. It has taken the place of the iron stuff from Sally. So if you just want to buy the Mithril stuff, it's going to be better than most of what you can get otherwise. Outside of the serrated stuff and the stuff from the Colossus. Again, outside of like the Cold Geist bow or whatever. All right, so for this layout, we actually need to go this direction and this direction to get 2 keys to go that way. So we'll have a couple combat arenas here. Yes, the Maws. Not the most annoying enemy in this dungeon, but they're close. I would say the mint rooms are a little bit more annoying. Oh my god, that damage. The mint rooms are a little bit more annoying just because they're so insanely fast. I need to be very careful in this dungeon. That's exactly why, wow. So cursed notes. Oh, here's a mint room. They're so insanely fast, and their attack tell is very, very confusing if you want to parry it. At least it for me. I always struggle parrying them. But anyway, the cursed notes that we need for the monolith chest piece are from. I think they can technically drop from monoliths, but they are more likely to drop from carbuncles, which we haven't seen yet. I love the carbuncles just in terms of design. I think they're really cute. Ugh, damn it. I'm not doing well at all. I really need a better staff or better scepter, but I can't really get that until I win one of these and get some of the loot. I just need to get good at the video game. I should be able to do this, no problem. I've played this game a lot. Oh, good, a killer maw. That's so awesome. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Hey, there's a carbuncle. I will attempt to kill it last. But killing the killer last might be my best option, as much as I don't want to. God, this is so annoying. I probably should be using imbue if I'm being honest. But here we are. Okay, yeah, the carbuncle isn't really much of a threat. The maw is. Get out of here, Jesus. Yeah, I love the carbuncle. The carbuncle robe is a really, really good chest piece for the, oh my god, for the mystic as well. So I probably should have leveled health a little bit more. I probably will on my next level, actually. That's probably a good idea. Yeah, here's a deadwood, which is just the stronger variant of the blightwood. I really need life tap, actually. Technically, I think it's possible to get life tap before now, but I'm not sure if that's true. I want to say you can get it in the catacombs, but I'm not positive on that. If I don't get it now in this dungeon, I will... I have a bunch of extra copies just from other characters, so I'll probably just grab that since it's possible for me to have had it by now. Oops, okay. Skill issue for just not pressing the block button. Yeah, there's probably going to be more. Yeah, you get a lot of waves for every area in this dungeon. Like a lot more than the other dungeons. And I think the only place that has more waves, it might be Tuul Valley, and I'm not even sure if it does. I don't think it does. I want to say this place has the most waves per encounter in the game so far. Actually, I think everything in here can drop curse notes, because mods can drop them. I think Deadwood can drop them. I'm pretty sure monoliths can drop them. It's just most common from carbuncles. Yeah, monoliths are just as easy to parry as brain. It's in there somewhere as the golems. However, their pillar attack here is significantly harder to dodge than the golems like throwing attack. So, and they have a lot more health. And they do a lot more damage. So just generally, the monoliths are significantly harder than the golems, especially when you have a bunch of them on you at once, or a couple of them combined with like maws or whatever. They can get very, very difficult. There we go. Come on, please give me a scepter. Dang it. Unfortunate. Yeah, life tap and divine. I can't even use divine yet. I'm pretty sure that's a level 18 skill, and you need the scroll for it. But those two would be insanely useful right now. Yeah, we can open this, but there is another locked gate behind it, so... Actually, I'm going to break the pots just in case there's a scepter. This dungeon also has more platforming than the others, or than pretty much anywhere else in the game. There is obviously a lot of platforming throughout the game, but it's not really focused on through most of the game, obviously. And this dungeon is kind of an exception. There are several rooms and layouts where you're just going to be doing a bunch of platforming, and that's kind of it. Okay, I just want to check for scepters, but I guess we're not getting one yet. Unfortunate. I'm just gonna take this opportunity to maybe heal a little bit. They can actually drop their axe. I think it's heavy melee, and I don't remember it being that good. But you know, if you don't have like another better weapon. I'm pretty sure it's heavy melee. I don't remember. To be honest, I kind of wish the mage had more movement abilities because it feels like the playstyle of the mystic rather is meant to just be like getting away and using ranged abilities as much as possible, considering Flux Bolt is like our highest damaging attack full stop. I really need life tap so I don't have to do this. Also, they have colon 3 faces. I just realized. Oh my god. Of course, there's a magic Minchroom too. So it's resistant to my main damage type. Arguably worse than Lively. Okay, that shouldn't be too bad. This seems like a pretty easy combo. Of course it's magical. Why wouldn't it be? That's so awesome. Kind of wish I had Reflect. Actually, well, Reflect isn't that good. It's a fighter skill, and it lets you, if you parry projectiles, it'll send them back at the enemy that casted them, but they don't usually do that much damage. Because obviously enemies use the damage type that they're resistant to. On top of just, like, not doing much damage anyway. I really like how Death's Door handled parrying projectiles, actually. Because if you attack a projectile, it will go in the direction that you attacked it. But also, if it hits an enemy, it'll do double the damage of the attack that you used to reflect it. So for instance, you know, a normal attack would be, say, 1 damage. If you reflected a projectile with a normal attack, it would do 2 damage. But a charge attack would do 2 damage. Or whatever, 3 damage? I don't remember. It's been a while since I played Death's Door. But then, you know, a charged heavy attack using that to reflect a projectile, it would do, you know, 4 or 6 or whatever the number is. So it was very beneficial to try and predict a projectile's trajectory and timing. So actually get that that super big damage boost that you can get from reflecting projectiles in that game. And I haven't really seen a game kind of do the same thing. Because, like, obviously you're not going to be relying on it a ton, but there are certain enemies that it just doesn't make sense to not use it on. Like the blue Wizrobe-looking enemies, for instance. So the chain skill set looks really, really good. I don't think I can put it on, even with Vanity. What do you mean invalid? Do I not have a high enough level? Is that what it is? Oh yeah, level 17. Okay. I'll show that off once I get to level 17, because it's a really, really good looking chess piece. Also, you can just entirely ignore that spike trap extremely easily. You know, it's kind of homophobic that I haven't gotten a scepter yet, actually. Also that I got hit by the spike trap twice, but that was more on me. The spike itself is homophobic in that instance. God, the lively Ma is so annoying. I'm so glad that poison missed me. I don't know how stepping in a poison pool can miss, but I'm not complaining because I do not want to be poisoned. The mob poison, I think, does 5 damage a tick or something. It's a lot of damage, and it adds up very, very quickly, and it's very annoying. 40 damage? Wait, why did I take 40 damage? That didn't look like it hit me. Dang it. That time was just because I didn't press the block button because I wanted to do more damage. That's what you call greed. Why? I was so close. Why wasn't that the melee attack? I'm just sucking now out of nowhere. Jesus. Maybe the game is homophobic. What? That range was stupid. Oh my god. Okay, I am gonna level up health, I guess. And also show what the chain scale test plate looks like, because, like, goddamn. I think it does look different on the male characters, but also the male characters are also presented as being attractive. So, like, I don't know. Part of the point of this game is really showing off the characters. I think that seems pretty obvious to me, and showing off the body type. So I don't really have an issue. Like, you can call it objectification, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree. But I don't think that objectification is always necessarily a bad thing, especially when in reference to fictional characters. And when those fictional characters are treated as, you know, attractive, it can definitely help raise the self-esteem of people who might have that body type, like, you know, me. So that's probably why I don't really have an issue with it. And, you know, when I'm the one being objectified, I'm allowed to say that I like it. I'm still wearing the Slimek leggings? Have I just not found better leggings? Okay, well, that's shocking. Yeah, that one's also just straight up better. Right, so yeah, we have the sigil there. This is kind of what I mean by it focuses on platforming. I know I didn't talk during that, but I'll try to put some of that in, because Obviously, this room has more platforming than a lot of the rest of the game combined, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. It makes sense that they would focus on, more combat because that's kind of what the game system are built around. But anyway, now that we have the sigil, we can just leave if we only want to do the Tethering Grove quest. But I want to do the Colossus quest as well, even if I don't get another scepter. I don't think it'll be that difficult, especially since most of my damage comes from Flux Bolt anyway. Um, and I mean, so the Colossus is like the hardest boss in the game, significant by a significant margin, but there is a way to make it significantly easier. I'll show what I mean. I know a lot of people struggle a lot with the boss, and I did a lot in my first playthrough as well. But I think once you learn it, it becomes significantly easier than Colossus, though that might just be down to like playstyle or whatever, and how my playstyle just happens to perfectly mesh with the Colossus. You'll see. Right now, though, gotta get through another combat encounter. And this is what I mean by it can kind of get tedious, especially if you don't necessarily like the combat. Everyone that I've played this game with, they've done one character or whatever, doing a playthrough on one character, getting to or through the content that's available in the game now, and then they stop playing. And no one else I played with has thought that it's been tedious. And I played this game, like 5 times or whatever. Actually, I think this is my 8th playthrough. I don't know. It's a lot. It's been a lot. I think it's more than that, actually. I want to say 10. I don't know. I played this game a lot, is the point. And I also haven't found it tedious yet. As much as, fighting the same enemies over and over can be. That's why I constantly do new characters and try new builds and stuff. But I think I've just found my favorite build and playstyle as Mystic, so that's what I'm actually building towards right now, which is why I have gaps in my skills down there, because I just don't really have the skills that I need for the thing that I want to do. And I'm going to put those in those spots, obviously. I haven't been using the charge attack very much, just because Flux Bolt does like comparable damage at range, so if not more damage. I'm not... Oh, okay. I'm not actually sure. Should have dodged there. Skill issue on my part, once again. Also, I want to point out, I don't remember if I mentioned it in the last video. However, the teleport sound is very, very reminiscent, if not nearly exactly the same, as the like teleport sound from Super Mario 64. That one. I'm pretty sure it is slightly different, especially with like the kind of magical sound that's going on in the background. It happens. I don't even remember where it happens in Mario 64, actually. I know it happens at some point in Mario 64. And then the spike traps feel obviously very inspired by the spike traps in Ocarina of Time. Like the one, I think the first one you see is in Dodonko's Cavern. And they're all over the place in like the adult dungeons and stuff. And again, I don't know if that's like an intentional reference or not, but either way, it's cool to see that kind of callback, even if it wasn't on purpose, even if it just happened to be convergent design or whatever. There we go. Easy. Come on, please give me a scepter. I can't even use it. It's too high level. Really? Oh. That's unfortunate. Well, I got my wish, I guess. Oh, gray dye. I don't have any of those, I don't think. I think that's my only gray dye that I have on all of my characters. Anyway, so the Colossus is easy if you fight it in a very specific way. So you have to stand about here, far away enough that the slam from one of its attacks will hit you, but not so far that you're so far away that you won't be able to capitalize on the parry or whatever. So once he does the slam attack, you'll see what I mean. This sends out a shockwave, and you can parry the shockwave, but not the slam itself, and that will fatigue you instantly. And he does it 3 times in a row later in the fight. So you need to make sure that you're at that specific distance. For some reason, I suck at timing that. I don't know why. It's not that difficult to time. But you need to make sure that you're at the specific distance once he starts doing it multiple times in a row. Otherwise, you will get hit by part of it because you'll get fatigued. Because if you don't parry it, it will fatigue you instantly. And then you can't block the next one. Obviously, we're not doing a ton of damage. The adds in this fight, though, there's only 2 of them, and they don't respawn. So not doing a ton of damage isn't an issue with this fight that much. Obviously, it's preferable to do more damage, but regardless. I do want to save my mana for the adds, though. Oh. Okay, there's the adds, and he's using the shockwave twice in a row. That's so awesome. I didn't know you could parry the shockwave. That's news to me. That's fine. Or that's good, actually. The shockwave doesn't reach all the way across the arena, so you're going to want to be as far away from him as possible when dealing with the... Oh my god, the ads. um, and then, make sure you're keeping an eye on him, because he will just charge across the arena nearly instantly to do that. As long as you don't get hit by the shockwave, then you're far away enough. That's fine. Also, those red circles obviously indicate... Oh my god, the pillars. That has infinite range, as far as I know. So just make sure you're blocking when that happens. And it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Oh my god. Okay, just get closer. There we go. Everything's fine. Yeah, that second one will hit you if you get fatigued by the first one. So just make sure you're parrying, like I said earlier. Yeah, again, if you're too close, if you're like directly under him, you'll parry one part but not the other and still get fatigued. So just gotta make sure you're at the right distance. And then obviously my gear is super bad for this fight. You might not want to do this fight the first time with the kind of gear that I have. You'll want to wait till you get, gear that's like actually at this level. But because I fought this boss so many times and I know the timings pretty well, it's really not that hard. Even if you don't really know the timings, it's pretty easy to intuit. And it wouldn't surprise me if you use that strategy if you were able to do it first try. It's not insanely difficult. Yeah, so all of the, or rather, most of the best in slot gear comes from that fight. We have another quest to do the Grove again, but this time sweep it, which you kind of have to do for the Grove anyway. I don't think there are any layouts where you don't have to sweep the Grove. And then after we turn in the Colossus quest, we can get the Purging the Grove quest, which is great. They actually decreased the... Oh my god. Okay, so the Carbuncles one used to be at 25. Yeah, you used to have to do the Grove like 3, maybe 4 times to get all the Carbuncles, but they decreased it a lot, which is really nice. So, only like 1.5 playthroughs of the Grove. It's looking like, what the hell is this? Valor Ring? I've never seen this before. Is this new? It's not like great, but it has good defense. I'm gonna keep that. That's cool. I'm actually gonna take a life tap from my storage since I have a few of them. I might end up taking the divine. Yeah, I definitely want divine, but I'm gonna try to get it from not um my storage. So I guess we'll see. I do really want divine though. Anyway, with these 3 points, I think I'm gonna spec out of Bell Mastery until I get the best in slot bell from the Colossus, which I'll probably just end up getting off camera. I'm also gonna remove recovery since with life tap that's kind of useless, and then just go into maxing out all the things that I already have anyway. Okay, so our final build is going to be life tap on. Personally, I'm gonna put it here. Unfortunately, I can't max that out yet, but that's fine. Scepter Mastery, Flux Bolt, which is going to be the main damage that we do through the game. Mana Flow, obviously maxed out. Restora, maxed out. Imbue, and Blink maxed out. And then I'm going to put that on 5 so I can have Divine here. I don't know what I'm going to do with that other skill slot. Maybe Flex Spear? I can get level 3 Flex Spear. Maybe it's worth not maxing out Imbue to max out Flex Spear instead. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'll figure it out once I get there. But yeah, that's the general build I'm going for. Again, once I get Divine, and then again, maybe Flex Spear, but we'll see. I don't remember Flex Spear being particularly good, but if we use a bunch of mana here, if I just like start casting and then need more mana to do whatever, then I can cast Life Tap to restore my mana while taking my health. It didn't take my health because, we're in the Sanctum, but it will take your health to restore your mana, and then you can just use Restora to max out your health again. So it's very, very good. All right, actually, it looks like everything else I need to do for these quests is just going to end up being just stuff in the Grove, which I've already, mostly showed off. If I get a different layout, I might show off certain parts of the layout or whatever, but generally, I think I'm just going to do the rest of these quests off camera. I realize I should probably show off the actual way I use this build because I'm a lot less careful now. Normally, obviously, when I got the Flame Petal Staff, which is the corresponding staff to the aqua petal staff that does a different damage type. Anyway, I'm a lot less careful once. Oops. Clearly. Somehow I didn't die at all in the last combat encounter I did. Anyway, I'm a lot less careful once I have this. I'm a lot less careful when I have this build set up because I can just heal at any time. And if there happens to be a moment that I can't heal for whatever reason, it's likely because I just healed. In which case I can use a consumable if I really need it, or it's because I don't have mana, in which case I can just use life tap. And like if I need to heal, obviously I'm probably not going to be able to use life tap immediately, because the entire point of healing is to get health back, and the life tap takes your health. But regardless of that, generally this allows you to be extremely reckless, and just focus entirely on dealing damage, which is very, very fun in my opinion. Like obviously being careful is really fun, and that's why I like the bandit class. However, not needing to be careful at all is also really funny because you can just shred enemies without thinking. And then once I get Divine, which is another healing spell, then, you know, it's all over. Obviously, I don't have the whole build set up because I do still need Divine, but I'm hoping I get it within a few attempts at this dungeon. Yeah, I just want to show off like as much of this combat as I can without it getting boring, so I'm trying to like talk to keep it interesting so I don't feel like I should cut it out because there's just like normal gameplay happening on screen or whatever. But yeah, this is a good time to use Life Tap Restora, which restores our mana or almost all of our mana, and if we had fully maxed out Life Tap, it would take even less health too. So anyway, yeah, I really like the combat with this build. I think it's very fun, and I think it is probably one of, if not straight up the best build that you can get as a Mystic, but I'm not entirely sure how true that is, but it is very fun, and I like it, so I'm going to keep using it. So I decided to go with Scepter Mastery and Bell Mastery over getting Flux Spear leveled up at all. I don't know, I feel like that just makes more sense since I have the best in slot Bell and my personal favorite Scepter. Which I prefer the flame petal over the aqua petal just because the burn status effect. Anyway, it occurred to me that I haven't really done any enchanting on camera. I already have this one enchanted because I'm borrowing it from my main character. It's magical, obviously. And I want all of this to be magical. It took me a while to get best in slot. That's why I'm level 24 now. But let's see if we can go ahead and get magical on all these. If not, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I would really prefer to. Come on, seriously? Okay, and I ran out of stuff for enchanting that, of course. Maybe I'll get lucky on this one. Energetic. Magical, there we go. Okay. And obviously I have a lot of money because I kept just doing the dungeon and quests over and over, so... I don't know, the shield is probably last priority, actually. Killer. Lively. Guardian. Magical. Okay. I'm gonna put that on since I don't have the stuff for it anyway. Cape. Guardian. Lively, Killer, Guardian. Come on, please. Magical. I don't know if this is the best ring, actually. I don't think it is. It might not be. I don't know. Oh, whatever. I'm not even going to have the shield equipped most of the time anyway. So this is what the best in slot gear looks like. I usually turn off the visuals for the helmet and the cape. But for now, I'll leave them on just because, I don't know, I think they're silly. I have the red dye just because I think it looks best against the yellow of the Birtle. Now, the bell actually requires 3 soul pearls per enchantment attempt. But you can actually buy soul pearls for 3,500 each from Sally, so that's not too big of a deal as long as you have deep pockets. It can be really tedious to grind for that, but you can also like find soul pearls through the dungeons as you do stuff, so it's not that bad. Anyway, all we really have left is Tuul Valley. That's kind of the last thing that is currently available. There's not really anything at the end of it, but because it's the last thing that's available, I want to show it off. It just kind of dead ends. You'll see here in a moment. As you can see, I now do significantly more damage. My stats are this, and then, you know, obviously I already showed off my skills, whatever. But, yeah, do quite a good chunk of damage. I don't know what my evasion chance is. I can't imagine it's that high. I think this bell is actually better than the scepter in pretty much every way. This is the charge attack for it. It's very funny. You could throw a giant rock. It's pretty great. Did it cause bleed or something? What was that? Damage over time, huh? Anyway, yeah, this is probably the hardest area in the game for various reasons. Mostly because you get a ton of rage boars. That's what they're called, geez. And also a completely new enemy type to this area. Owie. Jeez, that was rude. You can't see its color change because of the effect on it. Jeez. A little flash or something to indicate that would be nice. Or really anything to indicate it other than a color change and a very, very slight animation. A more exaggerated animation would be probably better in my opinion. This is the new enemy type, the boom boars. Owie. Should probably be careful and stay healed up here. Generally, bells are better for crowd control, and that's definitely true here. But this bell is also just better than the other two best scepters, which kind of sucks. I do wish there was a scepter that was on par with this bell, though the scepter would probably just end up being better, because throughout most of the game, the scepters are just better than the bows. So, I don't know, it is nice to like have reason to use a bow over anything else. So I guess I'm not complaining too much. Though, Flux Bolt ultimately is definitely the best damage that we can do right now. Oops, that's not what I meant to press. I don't think there's any particularly good gear that drops from here. Oh, I say that as I get an Angelus tier. It's probably a good idea to bring an Angelus tier or two, Angelus tier or two in here in the first place, since there's no respawn thing. So if you die at all, you have to start over completely, right? Because you'll just go straight back to the Sanctum and have to do the whole thing over again that you've done. Like, obviously right now it doesn't lead to anything, so that's not that big of a deal. But generally, you know, if you do want to get through this area or whatever, for whatever reason, definitely want to bring an Angelus tier so you don't have to start completely over every time you die once in this area. That also kind of goes for the keep, but the keep is like significantly easier. I'd argue this is the hardest area in the game right now, even harder than the dungeon, for me anyway. I don't know how widely held that opinion is. I don't talk to that many people who play this game, and the few that I do, you know, are like people that I've played with, so. And their opinions are generally the same as mine. Not exclusively, but generally. Got lucky on that miss. Yeah, and with level 3 Mana Font and also Life Tap, Mana Font enchantments kind of become pretty useless, admittedly. And right now, with Restora, lively enchantments and guardian enchantments really aren't that super useful. They're going to be a lot more useful in a fighter, I think, generally. But it'll be nice later in the game, you know, once more is added, where stuff just does a lot of damage, where all enchantment types will be useful and not just the damaging ones. Though I guess I also just prefer to play glass cannon, so that might just be on me and my playstyle and whatever. Oh my god, there's one there. Heavy. Oh, Great Eye. This might be... I don't know how common Great Eye is here. I did get quite a bit of it going through the keep. I now have an entire chest row of all the die types, so I think that's 8 of each die. So that's really nice to have, just in storage, you know. Just in case I decide I randomly want to change my die color or whatever. There is like quite a bit of platforming here, especially compared to the rest of the game. I kind of forgot about that. It's like... I really like that it's combat encounter and then platforming and then combat encounter and then platforming in that order, you know, instead of just combat, 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 platforming. Not that I dislike the combat. I do very much enjoy the combat in this game, obviously. But it is nice to have it broken up by platforming, and I really hope there's more platforming in later areas, just because I also find the platforming really fun. Though I guess the platforming ability of each of the classes is dramatically different, right? So obviously the bandit is going to have more platforming ability than the fighter or the mystic. I'd argue the mystic actually has more than the fighter, but I don't know how true that is. I guess the fighter does have like the, what is it called? The lunge or something? I don't know. The lunge attack that it has. Owie! I just didn't even see that one. Ugh. Didn't see that either, apparently. I think this was added this update as well in 1.6. 1.6a, you can parry projectiles, and it doesn't take the stamina cost, but it doesn't necessarily stun the enemy. While it used to be that you couldn't parry projectiles whatsoever, you could only block them. So no, even if you got the perfect timing, it would still take the same amount of stamina. So I think they changed that. I don't know if that's how that was before, but at the very least, I am capable of parrying projectiles now, which is really nice. I really like that I am able to parry projectiles in order to reduce stamina cost, even if it doesn't stun like a normal parry. Should probably restore. Be careful about this. Very lucky miss. Wow, this is a very long one too. I forgot that's kind of what makes this area difficult. The combat encounters are pretty long. I think the longest in the game. I'm not sure how true that is. There we go. Nice and easy. At least, you know, for a level 24 Mystic. That's probably not true if you're not, you know, insanely high level. It's probably harder as a bandit as well. I've done this as a bandit solo at like level 20. That was insanely difficult. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's everything as far as I know. I think this is a cool spot for a screenshot. Or for a thumbnail screenshot. I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, also, if you don't like the suggestive stuff, you can make it completely impossible to show any... So, like, right now, if I take off, you know, my gear, you can, like, see the skin of the character underneath. And it's not, like... I wouldn't call it suggestive, to be honest, because they're all animal characters and whatever. So they have fur covering up everything. Like, Sonic the Hedgehog does that, right? But if you don't like that, you can disable this option and have that go away. You can disable the jiggling. I don't know why you would want that, but you can. You can also limit character proportions. So, you know, if you don't want to see characters online that have massive tits or whatever, you can definitely do that. I don't know. Again, I don't know why you would, but it is possible. I haven't been recording in full screen this whole time. I'm sorry. I hope I can make that look okay. Wow, that's... Oops. Okay, anyway, that's everything in the game so far. I highly recommend playing this. Not 135, that's a lot. I highly recommend playing this game. I've had a lot of fun with this game. I hope if you decide to play it, I hit the FPS counter. Why is it back? What? Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this game if you decide to play it. Again, there is a demo, which I talked about last time. If you just want to try out the game, you know, the little bit that there is in the demo. And yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I love you all. If I missed anything, definitely please let me know. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss anything, but if I did, I would love to know about it. I have no idea what it would be though. I would especially like to thank Frankie, Peyton Brown, Jackie, Lilith the Hammer Witch, Ethan Strotter, Eric J.O., Krista, Rotini, Howling Nocturne, Magnetar Technologies, Racuna, White Flame, Manarok, and Ryan Rickard. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. I don't know how to end this.